Hey everyone. I came across some information and I wanted to pass it on to you guys. Do you guys remember the case of a child that went missing in North Carolina and they found him 3 days later and he said that he hung out with a bear for that time frame that he was gone? Well, when I heard the information about a bear, my ears perked up and so did most of the Bigfoot community. And we heard about this for weeks and weeks about this little boy. If you're not familiar with the story, here's a little news cap to catch you guys up.
He is good. He's up and talking. He's already actually watched Netflix, so he's good.
We're learning more about what it was like for 3-year-old Casey Hathaway, the North Carolina boy who had gone missing for 2 days. After a frantic search, little Casey was found in the woods not far from where he was last seen playing in his grandmother's backyard. Casey proving himself resilient to freezing temperatures and rainy conditions as hundreds combed more than 1,000 acres looking for him. The good news coming after one woman walking her dogs heard Casey's cries. Emergency responders finding him moments later tangled up in a thorn bush. The child's aunt writing on Facebook, he said he had hung out with a bear. Miracles do happen.
Well, like most Bigfoot reports or stories, they eventually just fade off and we never hear another thing about this. Well, this case really interested me and I love to do research. I love to dig into everything and try to learn as much as I can about the subject matter. And it's taken me a little while, but I came across some information and I definitely want to share it with you. So, of course, I wanted to know if there was any Bigfoot reports in this area of North Carolina. So, of course, I went to the BFRO's website and checked their database. So I went to North Carolina and went down to Craven County where this little boy went missing and noticed that there was 0 Bigfoot reports in this area. Just because there hasn't been any reports of a Bigfoot in an area doesn't mean a sighting hasn't occurred. I know a lot of people who have seen these things and refuse to ever file a report or even talk openly about this. I had a guy I was talking to one time who was a pilot, and he owned his own little plane, and he was flying to Ione one time, and he was flying over a mountain range, and he saw an upright, dark creature running full speed across the opening of this mountaintop in deep snow, and he said it was massive, and as he turned his plane around to come back and circle around to get a better look at it, whatever it was had made it to the tree line and he never saw it again. I asked him if he would like to, speak publicly about this, like on video or something, and he says not a chance. He owns his own business and he just doesn't want that kind of attention on him. And I completely understand. So, I mean, just because there isn't any reports doesn't mean it's not happening somewhere. A lot of people just don't want to talk about this kind of stuff. So I came across an article in the Sun Journal, a local paper there in North Carolina, that wrote an article about a possible Bigfoot sighting. And I found this story very interesting because it took place in the exact same county where this little boy went missing. Now, this story dates back to the 1800s. So I'm not going to read the entire article, but I will add a link in the description below so you guys can read the entire article. But I found this story very interesting, and how it's a little bit, it's a lot like what happened to the little boy, possibly. So let's get into it, shall we? So this article was written on October 7th, 1875, from the New Bern Weekly Journal of Commerce on August 21st. Now the article is not too long, but I'm just going to skim it. A resident of Kitts Swamp relates a strange and startling incident that occurred in his immediate neighborhood on Thursday, August 19th, and which has stirred up excitement and alarm among the inhabitants. A strange-looking animal was reported and had been seen lurking on the outskirts of the forest between sundown and dark, but no one had ever had been close enough to see what it really is. Now, the story goes on to this witness describing what happened next. Now, this is very similar to the little boy in North Carolina as well, because when he went missing, he was playing in his backyard, which is right next to the forest where he disappeared. So his 5-year-old daughter was playing with another girl in the backyard. All at once he heard the girls screaming, the dogs barking, and his wife calling for help. He decided to head back there and check out and see what was going on. Arriving in the backyard, he was surprised to see a creature holding the terrified girls by their hands and pulling them into the woods. From his description of what this creature looked like, he said that it had a face like a monkey, having a long, snowy beard or mane, while its body closely resembled that of a baboon, though from the knees down its feet and limbs in shape are almost precisely human. The creature, he guessed, was around 5 feet tall. He was able to surprise the creature and knock it down and free the children. And while doing this, the creature sprang from the ground with lightning speed and covered the ground into the forest, where its whereabouts remained as yet a mystery. The paper then called on all the young men in the area to go catch this intruder with a reward for all of them if they can capture this thing. I guess there was another follow-up article saying that this was a real event and this creature was for real. Now, I find that kind of interesting since, the little boy that went missing was playing in the backyard. These little girls were playing in the backyard and were being dragged away by some type of Bigfoot type creature, I can assume, into the woods. Now, this was back in like the mid to late 1800s in Craven County, the same county as this little boy went missing. So I just thought this was an interesting story, wanted to share it with you guys. So please read the whole article. I'll add that down below. But yeah, I thought it was an interesting little story. And maybe the kid really did hang out with something that, resembled a bear, but to a 3-year-old, Bigfoot and bear might actually look a lot alike.